loyal, passionate, and driven community. Once a bear, always a bear. Let's go!
Being a bear means that you always have a community and a home to come back to if you need it. Go out into the world, be you, do what you love, and just know that you always have a place to call home.
Being a bear means to me hard work. Congratulations, class of 2020, on your athletic accomplishments. I have many memories of you guys from when you were little kids in first, second, third grade at the Saturday morning kids clinic, spending time together each summer at Bear Power basketball camp, super competitive, modified girls lacrosse teams when you were in 7th and 8th grade, and many JV and varsity basketball seasons together. 3, 2, 1, hard work!
Being a bear means to me, it's being a family, coming together, taking care of each other, not afraid to ask for help when you need some help, and it just means that we're there for each other. I'll be there for anybody who needs help, and I'm hoping anybody will be there for me as well.
To me, being a bear means being part of a family.
Being a bear means to me community. It means we have people that we can rely on and you can be relied on. Basically, it means I got your back and you've got mine.
Being a bear means always having someone to lean on, never giving up, and trying your hardest. But it also means always having a family to welcome you home.
Being a bear to me means being a part of a great community, being a part of a community that always has each other's back. Being a bear means we are strong.
Being a bear to me means coming from a place where you're loved, a place where you learn to succeed, you can go out in the world and succeed, but you can always come home.
To me, being a bear means having a positive attitude, always trying your best, and always having integrity.
Being a bear means to me being part of something bigger than yourself, being a part of a community that is everlasting, and you'll always have a place to call home here in Bear Country.
Hey Bears, to me, being a bear is about giving your best, putting your all into your team, giving your best to your teammates, giving your best to your team, never settling for less than 100%, always working hard, always being dedicated, being a good person, being a good sportsman, and never compromising on those values even when things are tough.
Being a bear to me means that you're fierce and unstoppable, but more importantly, it means you're bigger than yourself. It means you're a part of a family who's there to celebrate you and to support you, who's always by your side and you're never alone.
Being a bear means working hard and working together, supporting each other, showing respect for each other, and in the end, we have a common goal that we are successful with.
Being a Chittenango bear has been a complete honor for me. I started way back in the early 70s, and I had the honor of meeting Mr. Bill Pashley, who is the one who killed the bear that the Chittenango name came to represent. I was very lucky there. Being a bear to me means, first of all, it's a commitment to sports, commitment to community. Most important thing, community, and obviously it's a big family for everybody, okay? I can't think of how many kids that I've coached over the years, and they're still around, and they're still proud to be a Chittenango bear.
Being a bear means to me a sense of community and common purpose.
Being a bear to me means always having a place to call home.
Being a bear to me means being a part of a kind and welcoming community.
Being a bear means always being our best inside and out and persevering regardless of the circumstances.
To me, being a bear means demonstrating good character, treating others with respect, having a positive attitude, and putting forth your best effort in everything that you do.
To me, being a bear means being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, knowing that you are there for the community and that the community is there for you.
Before we begin the evening, please join in a moment of silence for one of the Chittenango community's very own, Mr. Jack Anson. A member of the first class inducted into the Chittenango Athletic Hall of Fame, Jack was perhaps best known for his role as president of the Chittenango High School Booster Club. Mr. 50-50, as he was called, chaired the 50-50 raffle program beginning in 1989 and worked tirelessly to raise funds for the sports programs at Chittenango. Jack Anson was 84 years old. Hello everyone and welcome to the 2020 Chittenango Senior Sports Awards. I'm Tommy Valentine, your host for the evening. So honored to be a part of one of the most highly anticipated events of the academic year as we celebrate this talented class of student athletes and their many achievements over the course of their careers here in Bear Country. Of course, this is anything but a typical awards presentation, but through the tireless effort the last month of countless faculty members and coaches, we have a great show in store for you tonight. Plenty of awards to hand out, so let's get right into the 2020 Senior Sports Awards. We begin the evening with the 6 character awards, starting with the Loyalty Award. Joining me now on stage is a pair of coaches who both represent one of the recipients of the Loyalty Award. First is head varsity boys volleyball coach Mike Diezik, and to his left is varsity girls soccer and girls basketball coach Cassie Klein, gracious enough to join us on Zoom. Thank you both for coming on. We'll start with Coach Klein. Coach, given that loyalty is such a rare quality in many pro athletes these days and also in a staggering number of collegiate athletes, how rewarding is it to see the trait of loyalty in a high school athlete?
So I do think loyalty is hard to come by. I believe loyalty is the backbone for great athletes and great teams. When a player is loyal, you know they'll do anything for the team. It means they're brave, they have compassion and love for the sport, which means that results in trust and teamwork. Ultimately, that makes a team successful. So it is something that is really great to see in our high school athletes.
And Coach Diezik, it's easier to determine or decipher the loyal athletes at the highest level of competition. You look at a guy like a Derek Jeter or a Kobe Bryant, players who spent the entirety of their careers with one team. At the high school level, I'd imagine it's not quite as simple to make those determinations. So what constitutes a loyal high school athlete in your mind?
Well, Tom, that's a really good question there. Well, when you look at the high school athlete, most high school athletes nowadays are not a single sport athlete. So they're dividing their time and their practice and their off-season time with so many different sports and so many different activities. You know, that kid that really, you look for that loyalty in there, that kid who, you know, she wants to be doing your sport, paying attention to your guys, doing things in the off season, getting people together in the off season, other teammates for the team to make their team better. You know, it's really said that the preparation for championships is made in the off season, performance in the postseason, and that's what we're really looking for, is a guy that really wants to give everything they can to the sport and really work in that off season.
Now let's move on to the winners of the 2020 Loyalty Award. 5 co-award winners in total as we begin with the recipients from the boys' side. The first co-Loyalty Award winner is Brandon Turner. Brandon competed on both the volleyball and baseball teams. It was on the court that he racked up a team-high 329 assists this year for Coach Diezik's squad, and he'll be taking those talents to Wells College in the fall. Our next co-Loyalty Award winner is Nate Vivolo. A member of the football team as well as the indoor and outdoor track teams, Nate was a ferocious defender on the gridiron, earning second team all-league defensive line, and he'll be attending Paul Smith College next year. And our final Boys Co-Loyalty Award winner is E.J. Vega. EJ is being recognized this evening for his involvement on the unified bowling and unified basketball teams. A versatile player on the hardwood, EJ spent time at virtually every position on the floor, including point guard, forward, and center. Switching gears to the girls' side, where we have two more Co-Loyalty Award winners. The first, congratulations to Shannon Pitt. Shannon participated in both the softball and tennis teams. It is off to Syracuse University next year for Shannon, where she'll be studying biochemistry. And the second Girls Co-Loyalty Award winner, rounding out our finalists for the first of the 6 character awards, is Olivia Neurolis. A member of both the soccer and basketball teams, Olivia's senior season was cut short by an injury sustained while going in for a hard tackle in soccer, but that didn't stop her from supporting her teammates and rooting them on from the sidelines. Her head coach, Cassie Klein, regards her as one of the most loyal people she has ever met. Again, a thank you to Coach Diesick and Coach Klein for sitting down with us.
Thanks, Tom.
Let's hear it one more time for our 5 co-award winners of the 2020 Loyalty Award: Brandon Turner, Nate Vivolo, EJ Vega, Shannon Pitt, and Olivia Neurolis. Up next, 3 more coaches join us as we dive into the second character award of the evening, Tenacity. Stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to the 2020 Senior Sports Awards here at the Chittenango High School. I'm David Griska, Director of Athletics here at the Chittenango High School. It is my honor to award our first 2 varsity Cs for the evening. The recipients are Nate Vivolo and Nate Lampman. Congratulations, fellas.
Good evening. I'm Becky Connolly. You probably remember me as Miss Treader, though. I coach modified cross country, and it is my honor to award varsity Cs to Jenna Osborne and Alex Jean Cola.
Welcome back to the 2020 Senior Sports Awards. I'm Tommy Valentine. We're just getting started tonight, folks. One impressive group of Loyalty Award winners already in the books as we move on to our second character award of the evening, Tenacity. Here to represent some of our Tenacity Award winners is an equally impressive pair of coaches. To my left is head boys golf and softball coach Dan Kelly. Our second guest is joining us via Zoom. Say hello to Brian Thomas, the head boys soccer and boys tennis coach down on the end. Thank you all for making the time to join us this afternoon. And I'd like to begin with Coach Kelly. Coach, you typically hear about the most successful athletes as being those who practice as hard as they play in competitions. How important is that when defining an athlete who shows a lot of tenacity?
Well, Tommy, thanks for having me first off.
I think tenacity is one of those words that goes with your best athlete. I think it's an athlete that will show up for practice, play as hard as they do game day. It's off-season things that they do. They're role models. They are trendsetters. They're the ones, like I said, they want the ball at the end of the game. They want to get that hit. They want to hit that drive. They want to make the free throw. That it's the I'm old, but like a Mike Singletary, Chicago Bear. The eyes are big. It's a Tiger Woods over a putt, a Michael Jordan, just he couldn't believe that everything's going in. So tenacity to me just represents this willingness to perform, this willingness to do the best that they can, but more importantly, they're setting an example as to how other athletes should be responding in both practice and game situations.
And my other question before we reveal the Tenacity Award winners goes to you, Coach Thomas. With the tragic death of Kobe Bryant earlier in the year, the phrase Mamba mentality was circulating quite a bit. We've also seen the tenacity of Michael Jordan on display in the Last Dance documentary. How early do you think an athlete can or does develop a mindset like that? And do you find tenacity to be one of the more rare traits that a high school athlete features?
Well, again, Tommy, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be speaking on the behalf of the award for Tenacity. I feel that some athletes out there, they have that internal drive, while others kind of become determined based on some of their failures or setbacks that they have during their lives. Example, maybe just getting knocked off of, being cut from a team, maybe not being a starter on a team, and that really giving them a little bit of drive to get to where they are. Like Coach Dan Kelly said, with being tenacious, it's about that guy wanting the ball in their hands. I feel that tenacity trait is a rarity. I think some of our athletes are okay with being on a team. And then you have some of those athletes that are they're trying to be the best on a team, best in the league, and the best players that they can in the area. I would say that I would feel that this year's winners have put forth the determination to be the best they can be every time that they step on the field.
And on behalf of all the students watching at home, whom I imagine this means so much to see you up here, thank you for joining us, Coach Kelly and Coach Thomas.
Thank you.
Hopping on Zoom now to represent another one of our recipients of the Tenacity Award is the head varsity cheerleading coach, Tiffany Rutledge. Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, often a tenacious athlete is striving to not only play at their highest level, but also up the games or the performance of their teammates. Is that something you were looking for when nominating players for this award?
Absolutely. I think when you have a tenacious athlete that is coachable and has a never give up attitude, their work ethic tends to rub off on their teammates. And when that teammate strives to be successful in their sport, and especially in a team sport, they need their teammates to follow suit. So they find ways to up the performance of their teammates in order for them to be successful.
Another 5 co-award winners for this year's Tenacity Award, so let's get right into it. Leading off this talented group is our first Boys Co-Tenacity Award recipient, Sean Larson. A star 3-sport athlete in soccer, volleyball, and tennis, Sean earned first-team OHSL All-League honors at forward on the pitch this year, and that is exactly where you'll find him next year, as he'll be trading in the red and black for the blue and white of the Onondaga Community College Lasers. Moving on to our second Co-Tenacity Award winner, David Mullen. A standout in both soccer and cheerleading, David could have just as easily been up for the Sportsmanship Award, considering he won the 2020 Pin It Positive Sportsmanship Award, but it was his determination in improving his cheerleading skills that led him to the Tenacity honor. And filling out the Boys Co-Tenacity Award recipients, congratulations to Anthony Roberts. The captain of both his soccer and tennis teams, Anthony's on-field resume is jam-packed with accolades, highlighted by a first-team selection to the OHSL All-League squad at midfielder. RIT is very fortunate this young man is headed their way in the fall. 2 more spots remain for our Tenacity Award, and both are occupied by a pair of 3-sport athletes. Our first of 2 Lady Bears who will be taking home the honor of Co-Tenacity Award winner is Ashley Thompson. If there's one thing about Ashley's game that carries from sport to sport, it is her gritty defensive play and determination. An impressive talent in both soccer and basketball, but lacrosse is where she shines the brightest, and that is where she'll be next year, suiting up in the spring for the Keuka Wolves women's lacrosse team. Our final Co-Tenacity Award recipient, you may recognize the last name. Congratulations to Cassidy Kelly. As if it wasn't enough that Cassidy was one of the top players on the basketball and softball teams the last few years, she stepped in at goalkeeper this season for Coach Klein's soccer team, notching 139 saves. Onondaga Community College and longtime head women's basketball coach Mike Wheeler await Cassidy in the fall. A group of athletes that would certainly make MJ and the Mamba proud. Again, congratulations to your 2020 Co-Tenacity Award winners, Sean Larson, David Mullen, Anthony Roberts, Ashley Thompson, and Cassidy Kelly. Stick with us. It's the Commitment Award coming up right after this.
Good evening, I'm Christian Rohr. I coach JV boys basketball and girls modified lacrosse. It is my honor to award varsity Cs to Warren Tedford and Ashley Thompson.
Hi, I'm Coach Simmons. I coach varsity volleyball and unified basketball. It is my honor to award varsity Cs to Zeph Scott and David Schmidt.
Good evening, I'm Glenn Phillips, coach of the modified baseball team. It is my honor to award varsity Cs to Brianna Kelly and Cassidy Kelly.
A fitting transition from the Tenacity Award to the Commitment Award. The 2020 Senior Sports Awards are humming right along as we get ready to reveal the winners of our third character award so far this evening. But before we get to that, here to talk about the value of commitment is another great group of coaches. Let's welcome to the stage, first to my left, head varsity baseball coach Mike Stump. Sticking around on Zoom with us again, head varsity boys soccer and boys tennis coach Brian Thomas, and girls volleyball coach Amy Simmons. Rounding things out, it's a pleasure to have you all on. Thank you so much for doing this. Coach Stump, I'll open it up to you first. While we're celebrating the sports awards tonight, the most important jobs these athletes have are being students first. How impressed are you by your seniors to be able to stay committed to their schoolwork while also coming ready to play at 3 o'clock every day?
Well, I think for a lot of these players, they've been hearing this message since their 7th grade year that it is student before athlete, and I know that they value that. It's important to them that they do a good job both in the schoolhouse and out on the athletic field. And it's something that we hit on at every practice. We always leave saying something about go home and take care of your business at home so you can take care of your business on the field. So it's important to the coaches, it's important to the players. The players know that we have their backs in these types of situations. And that's something that we want to make sure they walk away from us knowing, is that in life, the most challenging places, most challenging things you're going to come across, there are people there to help you. And I think that's a really important lesson for them to learn.
And along those lines, Coach Thomas, we've seen the pictures of you as a Chittenango Bear back in the day. We've heard the stories. Of course, you're a member of the Chittenango Athletics Hall of Fame. Having been a student athlete yourself here in Bear Country, does that give you a greater respect for the work and the commitment you see from these current athletes?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Tommy, again. I can remember working towards my bachelor's at SUNY Cortland and thinking just how great it would be to be back working, teaching and coaching in this great community, and eventually raising a family here. I consider it a privilege to be back here teaching and coaching in my alma mater. As for your question, I stress commitment to all my athletes because it's a trait that is so important to everything that they're going to be doing in life. The time that these athletes put forth into their sports while juggling so many other responsibilities is so impressive. Just for example, with my soccer program, the fall season ends. We have a couple indoor sessions, about a month off, and we go right to outdoor, and then I have summer camps. The kids are performing in the camps as well as helping assist with the youth programs, as well as working jobs and committing to all their other sports that they're involved in. So again, I can't say how much I am impressed with everything that our athletes do here in Bear Country.
Lastly, Coach Simmons, the players you're representing for the Commitment Award are both multi-sport athletes. One is even a 3-sport athlete. They have to go about that balancing act between academics and athletics for just about an entire school year. Is that something that went into your decision for this award, and how difficult do you imagine it is to manage that balance for such a long time?
A 2 or 3 sport athlete is definitely taken into consideration when we're picking the award winners for this award. I think it's very difficult for the kids to balance their academics and their athletics year round, but that's what makes a good athlete and a good student and the type of person that we're trying for these kids to become as adults. Not only are these athletes committed to the regular season sport, they're also committed to playing club volleyball and club soccer and playing sports all year round.
Well, we have some more hardware to dish out for another 5 deserving student athletes who will be your 2020 recipients of the Commitment Award. Kicking things off with the boys is our first co-recipient of that commitment award, Devin Hardy. A member of the soccer, bowling, and tennis teams, Devin registered 2 goals as a defender for Brian Thomas's squad in the fall. He also has an OHSL honorable mention to his credit and is headed for Clarkson University. The second co-commitment award winner should come as no surprise. Congratulations to Noah Hardy. Teammates with his brother Devin in soccer, bowling, and tennis. He too was an OHSL honorable mention under Coach Thomas on the soccer field. They're going to be seen double up there at Clarkson because Noah will be a Golden Knight as well come this fall. And our final co-commitment award winner coming out of the boys' side is Tommy McIntosh. Another 3-sport athlete. You can find Tommy on the soccer field, the volleyball court, or the baseball diamond, but it was on the pitch this season that he tallied 15 points for the Bears. Tommy will be spending the next 4 years as a Golden Flyer. It's off to Nazareth College for him in the fall. You'll find that it's just as rare for our next 2 award winners to take a season off. A pair of young ladies who will be recognized as co-commitment award winners. Congratulations to our first recipient from the girls' side, Jada Massaclat. A versatile weapon for Coach Simmons' volleyball team, Jada finished top 5 for the Lady Bears in kills, blocks, digs, and assists. She also played under Coach Kelly on the softball team. Jada will be continuing her volleyball career at St. Lawrence University. That brings us to our final co-commitment award recipient. Give it up for Savannah Panoyer. With roots that lie deep in volleyball, having played 6 years with the Silver East Club team, her athletic success lies outside the gym as well. Savannah earned OHSL second team All-League honors in soccer after helping guide the Lady Bears to an overall record of 14-4 and has been an integral part of the success of the softball team the last few seasons as well. Once again, thank yous are in order for these 3 coaches, Coach Stump, Coach Thomas, and Coach Simmons. Thank you all for joining us, and best of luck with the rest of your school year.
Hi, I'm Mike Stump, varsity baseball, JV football coach, and I am privileged to award the Varsity C to Caleb Mendez and Tommy McIntosh.
Good evening, everyone. I am Gabby Loftus. I coach the girls' modified volleyball team. It is my honor to award Varsity Cs to Jamie Fitzgerald and Elizabeth Goss.
Hello, my name is Coach Saunders. I coach modified football. It is my pleasure to give the Varsity C Award to Cody Hendricks and Ed Heller.
Welcome back to the 2020 Senior Sports Awards. Our next character award is one that means just a little bit more this year. After everything these student athletes have endured over the course of the school year, we're talking about perseverance. And I am joined by 3 coaches well adept on that subject who have dealt with some of the most courageous athletes Chittenango has to offer. I'm pleased to be joined by the head varsity girls cross country and girls track coach Derek Gott. Along with him are the varsity unified basketball and head girls indoor track coach Miles Levesque, who has graciously hopped on Zoom to be with us. And down on the end is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll give it to him anyways. Our head varsity boys cross country, boys indoor track, and boys track coach Harold Muller. Thank you all for being here. Let's start with Coach Levesque. Coach, you can lend a unique perspective on this award because the athletes you have the pleasure of coaching show incredible perseverance every day, well beyond the athletic field. How proud are you of your athletes, and what does representing one of them for this award mean to you?
Well, first of all, Tom, I'm immensely proud to be able to present this award to one of my athletes. Going back to the beginning of the season, it can be really difficult because you need to learn the offense, the defense, and get yourself into shape. On top of that, unified basketball was new, so everyone was going through it for the first time. This athlete demonstrated their perseverance because they showed up every day and gave it everything they had. It was because of this unwillingness to give up that they made huge strides throughout the season. That carried over into this season where they didn't miss any of our voluntary workouts and they took advantage of absolutely every opportunity they had to get better. It was because of that that I'm truly honored for the opportunity to work with individuals like this.
Let's shift over to Coach Gott. Coach, stories involving perseverance make for some of the best in the sports world. Athletes overcoming adversity, bouncing back from injuries, things of that nature. Is there a particular example you'd like to share about the athlete you're representing?
You know what, Tommy, with perseverance, I think all athletes have to persevere over something that's in their path. With this year's, award winner, it's rare where athletes are going to have to persevere over the types of things that this young lady did, but it's amazing to see how she did it with such poise, and it's great when athletes can give us lessons about perseverance, and that's what I got out of this athletic accomplishment this year.
And one more question for the man who I know has a lot to say on this subject, Coach Muller. Perseverance can be shown in many ways, as we alluded to earlier, talking with Coach Levesque. Sometimes it's happening behind the scenes, and coaches don't even know what an athlete may be trying to overcome or a situation they're trying to put on the back burner when they step foot on the athletic field. That being said, what do you look for in an athlete that may embody perseverance when, again, you can't always know what your athletes are going through?
I think these athletes, the kids that are persevering for something, you really don't know it because they never complain. They're the kids you see walking down the hall with a smile on their face all the time. They'll stop and pick up a piece of paper and throw it in the garbage. If they see someone that needs some help in the hallway, they're going to be the ones helping. When they come to practice, even if they can't always practice, they're the ones that are there for every practice. They're there at every game. And they're the people that their teammates look for every day. And I think I'm going to steal a quote here that I really like, because this really describes the athletes that I know that have persevered. The wind whispers to the athlete, there's a storm coming, and the athlete whispers back, I'm the storm coming.
And now we recognize our 5 co-recipients of the Perseverance Award, whose tireless efforts to recover from injuries and overcome unforeseen challenges makes them more than deserving of this honor. I think it's only fitting that this young man lead off the Perseverance Award. Congratulations to Sean Cotter. When he's not brightening up the hallways of Chittenango High School, Sean is participating in the unified bowling and basketball teams. It's off to Syracuse University in the fall, and we wish him the best of luck. Our next co-commitment award winner has been defying the odds his entire life. Congratulations to Tavian Albertson. Tavian has been a dedicated member of the football and baseball teams throughout his high school career. He was an honorable mention for Class B East in football, and you want to talk about being competitive? His favorite memory of his career was beating Cortland so bad in football that the team walked off the field and didn't even shake hands with the Chittenango players. The final boys recipient of the Perseverance Award can relate to that story, a teammate of Tavian. Congratulations to Warren Tedford. A comeback story deserving of an ESPN 30 for 30. Warren was the starting quarterback for the Bears in 2019 after suffering what many thought was a career-ending injury the year prior. A star in both indoor and outdoor track as well, Warren will continue his football career at St. John Fisher. Still 2 commitment awards to hand out for the girls, and we begin with Chelsea Lamphere. From cross country to volleyball and track, Chelsea has always inspired her teammates to strive for greatness, as she's done so herself. Breaking the school record in the 4x800 relay, she also led the volleyball team in blocks and was 3rd in kills. She, along with Warren Tedford, will take her talents to the collegiate level, running cross country and track and field for St. John Fisher. And closing out the winners for the Commitment Award, our 5th and final co-recipient, Mackenzie Dowling. After losing her senior season to a torn ACL, Mackenzie miraculously returned with 5 games to play in the basketball season, and she perhaps secured the athletic moment of the year when she poured in a career-high 21 points against Skinny Atlas in her first game back. Mackenzie is headed down south next year to attend the University of Tampa. Thank you, Coach Gott, Coach Levesque, and Coach Muller for representing your athletes here this afternoon and serving as great role models to help them reach this point.
You got it. You're welcome, Tommy. Thanks, Tommy.
Some remarkable stories from some equally remarkable individuals. Your Commitment Award winners, Sean Cotter, Tavian Albertson, Warren Tedford, Chelsea Lamphere, and Mackenzie Dowling. Up next on the docket is one of the staple characteristics of Chittenango athletics. We will reveal what that is when we return.
My name is Kelly Fitzsimmons. I coach JV softball and modified cross country. It's my privilege to award varsity C's to Kelsey Page and Savannah Penoyer.
Hello, my name is Kurt Klobasa. Currently, I am the modified boys wrestling coach, and I am an assistant on the girls lacrosse coaching staff. It gives me great pleasure to award this year's 2 varsity C awards to Connor Van Patten and Brandon Turner.
Hi, I'm Carrie Cumber. I coach JV cheerleading, and it's my honor to award varsity C's to Madison Cole and my brother Cody Cumber.
When you walk into the gym at Chittenango High School, one of the first things you notice is the array of section title banners and competitive team achievements. But hung just as proudly amongst the athletic accolades are the banners recognizing the teams that have displayed great sportsmanship. And that is where our Senior Sports Awards take us now, as we highlight a class of individuals who personify the very characteristic of sportsmanship that the coaches at Chittenango have tried so hard for years to instill in their athletes, with great success, I might add. Setting the bar high for their athletes and leading by example is a characteristic of the panel of coaches next to me. Here to talk about the Sportsmanship Award is head varsity co-ed bowling coach Lisa Lowenberg, varsity unified basketball coach Joe Meeks, and head football coach Bill Cretero. Thank you all for being here and taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having us.
Coach Lowenberg, I'll offer this first question up to you. Sportsmanship has been one of the defining characteristics of Chittenango athletics. It's something this program takes very seriously. How important is this award to you?
That's an excellent question, Tom. Let me think. When I think of sportsmanship, I think of a player who exemplifies respect, empathy, integrity, honesty, and an overall love for the sport and the game. I think about a player who will not only reach down and pick up their own teammate if they've fallen, but pick up the teammate of the opposing team that they're playing. I think of a player who respects our community and represents Chittenango. I think of all of the different coaches and parents and players from other teams that come up to me and say, oh, we're so excited to see that we're playing Chittenango on the schedule, and we know that it's going to be fun, and we know how much your kids like the game and how much they, contribute to sportsmanship. So that's what I think of when I think of sportsmanship. I think of our kids and I think of our community.
I'd like to turn it over to Coach Meeks now. Coach, sportsmanship is one of those rare qualities that can be taught. How much of an emphasis do you find yourself placing on preaching good sportsmanship, and do you find it to be equally as important as teaching the actual fundamentals of the game?
Thank you for the question. I think sportsmanship actually means more, especially when it comes to unified sports. Unified sports is not just the community of Chittenango. It's really the community of everywhere that we live. It is a growing sport where we complement and highlight everybody's uniqueness, and I think sportsmanship really embodies everything about unified sports, because it really gets down to everybody is unique, everybody has different qualities, but it's acceptable.
Finally, perhaps one of the leading authorities on good sportsmanship, Coach Cretero, will be taking the final question before we reveal the winners of the Sportsmanship Award. Coach, as long as you have been around sports, I'd imagine you have at least one example of an opposing coach coming up to you and commending you and your athletes on showing good sportsmanship. How does that make you feel as a coach, knowing no matter what the scoreboard reads, your athletes are out there showing the utmost respect for the opposition?
That's a good question, Tommy. Thanks.
Yeah, in fact, last year, one of our first games of the season, one of the opponent's coaches sent me a text afterwards telling me what a great job the kids did during the game as far as playing clean, playing by the rules, no trash talk or anything like that. And that really made me feel really good because my coaching staff and myself, we really do work on teaching more than just the game of football. We want kids to be honorable and to be good sports, and it is a game. And so those are things, part of our goals that we try to reach, and the recipient tonight certainly has shown that throughout his career here at Chittenango.
This is the biggest group of award winners we have this evening. 6 student athletes receiving Sportsmanship Award honors, and our first co-recipient in the category of sportsmanship is Chase Service. As a member of the unified bowling and basketball teams, his head coach Joe Meek said Chase, quote, was always the first one to give you a smile and a big hug after finishing a frame or at the end of the game. Displaying the heart of a champion as much as his heart of gold, Chase is also being recognized as a Special Olympian. Sticking with the boys' recipients, the next co-sportsmanship award winner was a teammate of Chase's. Congratulations to Nick Farr. Spreading positivity and encouragement from the football field to the unified basketball court, Nick balanced a fierce competitive edge with immense respect for his opponent. Coach Cretero, the man whom Nick racked up 26 tackles and 2 interceptions for this year, added how Nick was always one of the first to shake the opponent's hand after a game. And our third boys co-recipient of the Sportsmanship Award, completing a sweep of the boys' side for the unified basketball team, Austin Strickler. Aside from unified basketball, you can find Austin shining on the soccer and volleyball teams. It has been a year full of accomplishments for him, as he also earned a boys volleyball all-star honorable mention. His head coach in volleyball, Mike Diezik, recalls a moment when Austin called a tipped ball on himself during the sectional championship in 2019. If that doesn't define sportsmanship right there, I don't know what does. Switching from the boys to the girls, 3 more Sportsmanship Award winners remain, and leading things off is Abby Austin. A 3-sport athlete in tennis, bowling, and softball, Abby earned OHSL's second-team All-League honors on the tennis court in doubles. Her head coach for the tennis season, John Clancy, was sure to include how she always apologized anytime she hit an opponent with an overhead. While academics are coming first for Abby at Stony Brook University next year, she fully intends on playing sports on the side. Coming in alongside Abby is our second co-sportsmanship award winner for the girls, Carolyn Micah. Carolyn's season was highlighted by a selection to the OHSL All-League first team for volleyball after finishing the year with a team-high 225 assists, contributing 40 aces as well. A member of both the soccer and golf teams as well, it's on to the University of Buffalo for Carolyn in the fall. Rounding out this impressive group of student athletes and bringing a close to the Sportsmanship Award is our final co-recipient. Congratulations to Madison Cole. Despite a lengthy list of accolades accrued over a brilliant career on the cheerleading squad, including a 2020 OHSL First Team All-League selection, perhaps Madison's most impressive moment as a Bear came during her senior year when she stepped out of her longtime flyer role on the team and willingly helped coach up and lead her successors at that position. Her head coach, Tiffany Rutledge, said Madison was practically her right-hand man. Well, it means so much to the athletes you're representing that you're all here, as it does to us. Once again, thank you to Coach Lowenberg, Coach Meeks, and Coach Cretero for joining us and sitting down with us.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, I'm Coach Bacon, Coach Modified Football, Varsity Wrestling, and Modified Softball. It is my honor to award the Varsity C Award to Nick Karosik and Seth Kimball.
Hi, I'm Coach Barron. I'm the Varsity Girls Lacrosse coach and the Assistant Varsity Boys Football coach. It is my honor to award the Varsity Cs to Allie Shoemaker and Evan Smith.
One final character award remains this evening before we switch gears to the 3 individual awards. Really a culmination of the previous 5 character awards. The winners of the Leadership Award, which we are about to present, embody most, if not all, of the traits we have touched on tonight. Here to represent those award winners is an all-star cast of coaches. We are so very fortunate and grateful to be joined by the head varsity wrestling coach, Nick Bacon, the man who never takes a season off, our head varsity girls tennis, boys basketball, and girls golf head coach, John Clancy, and head girls lacrosse coach, Dave Barron. Gentlemen, you're representing an exceptional group of young student athletes, and we appreciate you all coming on and joining us. We'll have the young man of the bunch, Coach Bacon, lead things off. Coach, 9 years ago, you were sitting on this stage receiving the Athlete of the Year award. Now you're representing one of your athletes for one of the most prestigious awards the athletic office has to offer. What does it mean for you to have come full circle like this?
Well, Tom, it's a great question, and it was an honor to be on the stage back then, and it's an honor to be on the stage now. I'm extremely proud to be a Bear. I'm extremely proud to be back here, and it's very it's humbling to be back here representing some of these athletes. When I look at when I was up here and when I was an athlete, I had a great time and I worked hard, and it's great to see some of these young athletes working hard, not only on their field of play, but also in the classroom. And a lot of these young individuals are doing a great job, and they're going to continue to do a great job. And when I look back and think about some of those athletes that did win Athlete of the Year in the past, they were doing great things then, and it's amazing to see how they're doing great things now. And I can't wait to see how some of these athletes now are going to go and continue on with their lives.
And now we go over to the man who has seen countless athletes come through Chittenango, who's coached the likes of Brandon Korp, Jessica Antelmi, Devin Phelps. Coach Clancy, after all these years, all these seasons, what makes a great leader in your eyes?
First of all, I'm really happy to be here. It's been a very difficult spring for all the kids and us. Very happy to see Tommy back here. I am looking forward to the day when we're seeing him on TV on a regular basis. If you become one of those announcers that says you can't do the math, I'm going to be tremendously offended, so make sure that that never happens. And when you talk about the leadership of some of the former athletes I have had, and I would expand them to much more than just those 3, the thing that they have in common is none of them think of leadership as telling other people what to do. All of them enjoyed the grind of every day getting better. And that's why their teammates respected them. And that's why when they did say something, it was really taken, really to heart by their teammates. And, I couldn't be prouder of all those kids in addition to the athletes that we have this year that are going to get this award.
And my final question for you, Coach Barron, the characteristic of leadership transcends athletics. Former U.S. national women's soccer player Julie Foudy once said, "Sports not only build better athletes, but also better people." Do you find a lot of truth to that statement? And how confident are you that the young men and women receiving this award will excel off the field when their playing days are done?
I do find a lot of truth in that statement. If you look at people who are leaders in government, business world, even in our own school community, those people have strong ties to athletics in their youth, so that definitely is a connector. Our kids that are winning the Leadership Award this year, obviously all tremendous kids, and besides their tremendous athletic abilities, they're leaders in the classroom, various clubs, things that they do, and I'm sure that the high point of their life is not going to be right now. The high point of their life is yet to come, and they're going to be great leaders, hopefully in our community, but somewhere in the world for sure.
The future is bright for these next 4 award recipients as they venture out of Chittenango and they depart Bear Country with the full respect and admiration of their coaches, teachers, and teammates. To start things, here is our first co-recipient from the boys' side of the 2020 Leadership Award, Brian Schermerhorn. A standout in soccer and basketball, perhaps his best attribute as a leader is that he puts wins ahead of personal stats. That didn't stop him, though, from leading the basketball team in steals, deflection, and charges taken. He also took charge of a young team that, with the help of his leadership, ended the year winning 3 of their last 5 games. Lemoyne College awaits Brian in the fall. Alongside Brian as a fellow co-leadership award winner, our second recipient on the boys' side is John Spencer. As much a leader off the field as he is on, you could always find John putting in extra work in the weight room. His efforts behind the scenes translated to the football and lacrosse fields as well as the wrestling mat. and it was on the gridiron where John notched 54 tackles, 1 sack, and a fumble recovery his final year under Coach Cretero. John is headed to big places quick as he intends to spend the next year studying abroad in Argentina. Just 2 Character Award recipients remaining tonight, and the next 2 young ladies who will be taking home Leadership Award honors left as much a mark on the Chittenango Athletics record book as they have in the community. Our first co-recipient for the Leadership Award, Allie Shoemaker. Not as much a vocal leader, Allie epitomized what it means to lead by example. The only member of the 1,000-point club in Chittenango girls basketball history, Allie played a huge role on both the soccer and lacrosse teams as well. She joins a loaded class of athletes headed for St. John Fisher and will continue to represent Bear Country as a member of the Cardinals girls basketball team next year. Our final Character Award winner of the evening and co-recipient of the Leadership Award is Sarah Martin. It's easy to know when Sarah is in the building. Just her vocal presence alone helped her guide her soccer and volleyball teams this year. Of course, she had the numbers to boot. 28 goals in the fall for Coach Klein's team, and she led the attack on the court for Coach Simmons' squad, leading in kills with 118 and tied for the top spot in aces with 40. She'll be keeping her talents on the pitch next year at the University of Rochester. And this is as much a victory for you 3 as it is for these students. They've obviously had a great set of role models to set the precedent for what it means to be a leader. Coach Bacon, Coach Clancy, Coach Barron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tom.
Hello Bears, this is Coach Chittenango. I coach modified soccer, modified girls volleyball, and modified lacrosse for the Bears. It is my pleasure to award Varsity C awards to Devin Hardy and Noah Hardy.
Hi, I'm Denise Devine. I'm assistant girls varsity track coach, and I'm honored to present Sean Larson and Sarah Lanning with the Varsity C award.
Hey there, this is Coach Williams. I coach modified lacrosse. I'm here to award announce the Varsity C award winners. And they are Jake Inman and Anastasia Joint.
If you sit down with some of the coaches at Chittenango, you're bound to hear countless heartwarming stories of athletes displaying perseverance, resilience, and tenacity. It's no coincidence that 2 of those traits were included in our 6 Character Awards and certainly factored into the decision for the winners of our next award, Comeback Player of the Year. So many deserving candidates in this class of athletes, but only 2 will take home the title of Comeback Player of the Year. Frankly, the stories of these 2 individuals are the likes of what you would hear about on television, and yet you can find them right here in Chittenango. Our recipient of the Boys Comeback Player of the Year award is someone who proved the naysayers wrong this past football season, never lost sight of his dreams, and still has not, as he plans to continue his athletic career in college. Congratulations are in order for Warren Tedford. This coming from Warren's head coach in indoor and outdoor track, Harold Muller, quote, Warren has had the type of senior season everyone would love to have. In his case, he had to make it happen. Perseverance means not giving up when others tell you to rethink your ridiculous dreams, and Warren never gave up on his dreams. The last 2 years for Warren define, in my eyes, perseverance. And here rejoining me now to represent Warren is Coach Harold Muller. Coach, it's great to have you back. I understand this is a young man who you have a lot of respect for, and it's no mystery as to why.
Warren is a young man who is focused. He knows what his goal is, and he just works towards it all the time. He is relentless.
So, Coach, for those who are maybe not familiar with Warren's situation, if you could detail the injury he sustained his junior year. I understand you weren't even coaching him at the time it happened during the football season back in 2018. And what was going through your mind when you heard the news?
Warren is such a dedicated athlete. I had him in chemistry class last year when he was playing football, and he was very excited. He was going to play football. He was going to be able to play quarterback. And every morning he would come into class, and we would have a little bit of chit-chat about the Dallas Cowboys. But on that particular morning, he came in, and Monday morning he could barely walk. He had crutches, And the first thing went through my mind is, this kid, this guy has just worked so hard just for this year, and he's not going to have it now. And when he told me that he had hurt his knee and it didn't look good for the rest of the year, it was heartbreaking.
5, 4, 3.
You mentioned to me that there was no guarantee Warren would even be able to suit up and take the field for Chittenango again. Lo and behold, he's starting the 2019 football season at quarterback, no less. How was he able to come back from that, and what was his rehab program like?
We knew Warren was going to have surgery, and he was going to miss the indoor track season for 2018-2019. He was very sad, but what was really unique was he came to every practice, and you really found out something about Warren because he didn't have to come to practice. He did because he wanted to. That particular year, we had decided in November that we were going to win the sectional title in outdoors no matter what. And I had the same kids that were going to do indoor track and outdoor track. So we started working out twice a day. Well, after Warren's surgery and after we got to about February and he was released to do upper body work, he came to me and said, "Hey, can I come in with you guys in the morning?" And I said, "Well, you're sure you can?" And he had the okay from the doctor. So Warren started coming in every morning that we came in. He was there 2 to 3 days a week, 5:30 in the morning, lifting weights, doing whatever the doctor allowed him to do. When he was finally released in May to run, it was painful to watch him run. I just didn't know how he was going to do it. In 4 months, he was going to be back on the football field. But he continued to work, follow his physical therapist, and do everything he was supposed to over the summer. And the improvement that he made during that 6 months was incredible. We came back to school in August, and he was, when I went to that first game and he started as quarterback, it was something. But he continued to come in. We just kept coming in 5:30 in the morning, twice a week. I would have to worry, like if we had a snow day, I would have to make sure I called Warren in the morning. And Warren's only hope was that we got to school before Mr. Eve called the day off. So he worked so hard to get back to where he is now.
Finally, Coach Muller, you hear Warren's story. It can serve as an inspiration to future athletes who may sustain an injury like Warren's. Aside from that, what kind of legacy will Warren Tedford leave once he graduates from Chittenango?
Everyone who watched Warren this past year knows that you can't give up on yourself, you don't give up on your team. Hard work pays off, and it's an inspiration. Whenever the coaches talk to him, you feel good when you leave. I know that one of our plans this year, Coach Levesque and I, is we're going to go down to St. John Fisher to watch that first game when Warren suits up, because we spent so much time with him. We watched him grow. We were afraid for him. He set his sights so high, and you're always worried. Like you tell kids, never give up, never give up. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, he's worked so hard. I don't want to see this go bad for him. I hope he's not setting his sights too high. And Warren never gave up. And that first time he started, it was incredible. And then this year in indoor track, when he made it all the way to the state qualifier meet, you would have never seen that coming. Even before he got hurt, you wouldn't think that would happen. Yet he worked so hard that there he was at the state qualifier meet, running what was his last high school competition, and it ended up finishing third overall and being one of the best teams in Central New York. So Warren leaves a lot behind.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming back on to support Warren. It takes a great coach to help sculpt such an impressive individual. You should be as proud of yourself as you are of Warren. Thank you again, and best of luck with the rest of your year.
Tommy, like all athletes at Chittenango, it's been a pleasure to coach Warren. It's been a pleasure to watch you over the last couple of years. It's nice to see our athletes and students just do so well in life.
We're going to take a short break before we announce the girls' 2020 Comeback Player of the Year. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Andrew Young. I coach JV boys soccer, JV boys volleyball, and varsity boys lacrosse. It is my great honor and privilege to award John Spencer and Austin Strickler the Varsity C Awards for Chittenango.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Scheitelman. I coach modified girls track and modified girls tennis. It is my honor to present the Varsity C Awards to Keelan Davey and Amy Davio.
Before we went went to break, we revealed the first of our 2 recipients for the 2020 Comeback Player of the Year. Congratulations again to Warren Tedford. Our winner for the girls shares a similar story with Warren. An injury last summer threatened to keep this individual out for most, if not all, of her senior year. But that did not stop her from returning to competition towards the tail end of the winter season. She too intends on playing sports at the collegiate level. Your co-recipient of the 2020 Comeback Player of the Year award, Mackenzie Dowling. Mackenzie's head soccer and basketball coach, Cassie Klein, had this to say about her, quote, "I have never met someone who handled this process with such poise, determination, grace, and optimism. However, this doesn't surprise me with the type of person this young lady is. She persevered and did the impossible, making a comeback and defying the timeline." Coach Klein has been gracious enough to join us on Zoom once again. Coach, when we talked about Mackenzie, you made it clear this is one of your favorite athletes you've had the pleasure of coaching.
Yes, Mackenzie is the kind of person and player you always want to be around. She's the kid that, you know, is first to practice, last to leave. She's always asks if she can do anything to help, and she stands out on the field and court. She's also someone I go to get things done, and it just has a lot to do with the type of person she is, and which makes her the player that she is.
Coach, this is such a tight-knit senior class. A lot of these girls have been playing 3 seasons together for countless years. A lot of them played travel ball together. What were some of the reactions of your players when they found out Mackenzie had torn her ACL, and what kind of toll did it take on you as a coach to lose a player who you've spent a great deal of time with and who has been an integral part of both the success of the basketball and soccer teams?
Honestly, I think the girls were in disbelief that could happen to her. I also think they were just so upset and sad for their friend, knowing that she's heading into her senior year. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't lose sleep over this. She is my center defender on soccer and my shooting guard for basketball. So it was definitely something that I thought about a lot, and I just felt so sad for her because she is the kind of player you want and need on the field and court.
Along those lines, how much do you think the bond and the camaraderie that this senior class has helped Mackenzie in her rehab? I'd imagine getting back out there to competition with her friends was a big motivating factor for her.
A great amount. Kenzie is, however, very self-driven, but the positivity and encouragement of her support group and the friends that she has on the field and on the court really gave her something to work towards. Even though she's the type of person that would have been able to do it on her own, it's just nice to have someone to fall back on.
And anyone that knows Mackenzie knows how much she enjoys being on the field or on the court. She wants to be out there competing with her teammates. She recovered from this injury much quicker than most people anticipated. But how difficult was it to manage her intense drive to return to competition and be sure not to overdo anything in rehab?
I trust her. I think she has a really good sense of judge. And even though I asked her 1,000 questions day in and day out about how she's feeling, does it feel sore, what happens now, I do think she always would tell me the truth. And if I ever thought that she was a little untruthful because of that drive to get back, I'd ask her friends or her mom just to see what they said. But ultimately, it always lined up because she is very truthful, and she let me know when it was sore and the steps that were going to be taken from whatever point of view that I asked.
Finally, Coach Klein, February 10th, she makes her return to the hardwood against Skinny Atlas, and all she does is pour in a career-high 21 points after not having participated in game action since her injury back in June of 2019. Take me through what was going on in your mind watching her out there, the feeling of pride you must have had knowing what a tumultuous journey it was for her to get back to that point.
Honestly, it gave me goosebumps, knowing that I get to go tap her on the knee to get into the game. I did tear up, and every time she, hit a 3 or went in for a layup or played great defense, I literally had tears in my eyes as I'm coaching this game. I did have one of our other injured players take a picture as she was subbing in for the first time because of how great of a feeling it must have been for her and us and our teammates. And she she surprised me, but she didn't, because I knew that's the type of person she was and that she was going to go out there and do that. But every time she went down in any sense, I held my breath, because, you know, you're just so on edge after that point. But she's so truthful in herself, and she let me know when she needed to come out and when she was ready to go back in. And it's just something that I'll never forget, and I'm sure she won't either.
Coach Klein, thank you so much for staying with us. I can't imagine how much this means for Mackenzie, given the strong bond between you. Continue to stay safe and healthy, and thanks again.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Barron. I coach JV girls soccer and lacrosse. I also coach 7th grade girls modified basketball. It's my honor to announce the Varsity C Award winners of Samantha Morton and David Mullen.
Hi, I'm Coach Tom Davio, and I coach soccer here, and I also coach tennis. I'm very proud today to announce a Varsity C letter to 2 recipients, Mr. Ken Matthews and Josh Mattia. Congratulations.
My name is Coach Shepard, and I am pleased to coach modified track here at Chittenango, and it is my pleasure to deliver a Varsity C to Sarah Martin and also Jada Massaclat.
Welcome back to the 2020 Senior Sports Awards. Only 2 awards remaining in the evening, and here to help me introduce the Section 3 Scholar Athlete is the principal of the high school, Mr. Nick First. Nick, thank you so much for taking time out of what I'm sure is a very busy schedule for you. Hopefully we can provide a little release from the chaos with an award that I know as the principal of this school you take a lot of pride in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Tommy. Thanks for having me here. First of all, thanks for doing this. It's great to see and have you back here. Yeah, I'm extremely proud of this award. As a former student athlete myself, I know the rigors that come with the classroom. But what separates these kids who win these awards is the time that they put in the classroom, and I think those lessons translate on the field. So it's always a special award and something I look forward to give out.
Before we get into our questions, let's reveal our 2 Section 3 Scholar Athlete Award winners in keeping with the form of the evening. We'll start with the boys recipient first. Congratulations are in order for Anthony Roberts. Anthony is the valedictorian for the class of 2020, finishing with a GPA of 98.87. He also scored a perfect 36 on the ACT and was also the recipient of the Bausch and Lomb Honorary Science Award sponsored by the University of Rochester. Anthony's talents lie outside the classroom as well. We've also heard his name called for the Tenacity Award earlier this evening. A bright future no doubt awaits Mr. Anthony Roberts. The same can be said about the girls Section 3 Scholar Athlete, another student who will need a suitcase to take home all of her awards. Congratulations to Sarah Martin. Boasting a laundry list of extracurricular involvement, Sarah excels as much academically as she does on the soccer field and volleyball court, evident in her 98.6 GPA. She is pursuing a career in dermatology and will be majoring in biology with a minor in bioethics. Now, Nick, we touched on this with the coaches for the Commitment Award, but I'd love to get your perspective on this. While both Anthony and Sarah excel athletically, their jobs first and foremost are to be students. How impressed have you been with their ability and willingness really to manage both their academic and athletic responsibilities and do so for the majority, if not the entirety of the school year, given the fact that they're both multi-sport athletes?
Well, Tommy, to talk about those 2, I'm extremely proud of them. They have excelled academically, representing our Val and our Sal, but they've also excelled athletically, multi-sport athletes, as you said. But I think that's even selling them short. We'll be talking about this at the academic awards on how well they have done academically. But it goes much more than that. What they bring to our building, what they represent. I mean, I think Anthony's got a career as a rapper, and I think Sarah's got a career as a coach. They both do so much to make our school and our culture and our climate better. We're proud of both of them.
And I have to ask a quick follow-up question to that. Anthony is the valedictorian, while Sarah is the salutatorian. Can you recall a year in recent history where both the valedictorian and salutatorian were multi-sport athletes?
No, Tommy, I've been here 7 years, and this is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Now, obviously, this has been a unique school here, to say the least. You feel for the athletes whose final seasons as Bear were taken away from them due to the situation involving COVID-19. And yet, without the end-of-the-year festivities to look forward to, without those final spring season senior nights, these students have stuck with it. They've attended their Zoom meetings, kept their foot on the gas, and obviously, we've seen the fruits of their labor, which are very well evident in the academic accomplishments of Anthony and Sarah. What does that say about the resilience and commitment of these students?
I think you nailed it. That's a perfect way to describe what they have met, not only for this year, but what they've met for the past 4 years. They're involved in so many different activities, clubs, organizations. We can go on and on about that. And when it's easy to stop, because it's the easy thing to do, they didn't. They persevered, but they were doing this before this, and I wouldn't expect any less from them.
And finally, Nick, I'll leave this last question up to you. I'm sure you have addressed and consoled this senior class as much as possible these last few months. Is there anything else you'd like to say to not only the athletes, but the entire senior class?
You know, I think if I could sum this up in a little bit, I'll talk about this at graduation. I believe in silver linings. I believe things happen for a reason. And in a lot of ways, what's happened to this senior class is extremely unfortunate because of what they represent. But if there was a class that was ready to tackle this world 3 months ago, it was them. And they're going to do great things. I can't wait to hear the stories about what they've done in the years to come, and we'll always welcome them back with open arms.
A final thank you to Nick first for joining us this evening, and once more, congratulations to Anthony Roberts and Sarah Martin, your 2020 Section 3 Scholar Athlete Award recipients. Don't go anywhere. We have one final award to present this evening, and I'd imagine you can guess what it is. We'll be back with the winners of the Athlete of the Year Award in just a moment.
My name is Becky Nelson, and I am the athletic trainer here at Chittenango. It is my honor to award a Varsity C Award to Shannon Pitt and Anthony Roberts.
Hi, my name is Samantha Mayer, and I coach boys modified volleyball. I'm honored to award Mackenzie Dolan and Isabella Coutry their Varsity C Award.
My name is Mike Logan. I coach modified basketball and JV baseball. It is my honor to award Varsity Cs to Abby Austin and Tavion Albertson.
From the time they could first dribble a ball, shoot a basket, or swing a bat, this group of Athlete of the Year award winners have worked tirelessly to reach this point. No extra rep in the weight room, no 90-degree summer travel ball game, and no late-night practice session when everyone had gone home was too much to deter these 5 athletes from reaching the peak of athletic success at Chittenango. Their legacy will last long after they're gone as they leave behind a path for the next generation of Bears to follow. It is my great honor to present your 2020 Athlete of the Year award winners as we begin with the 2 recipients from the boys' side. Our first co-athlete of the year commands a great deal of respect from his teammates and especially his coaches for his leadership qualities. His win-first mentality is something you rarely see in athletes today, and he truly embodies all the character traits we have touched on this evening. Congratulations to Brian Schermerhorn. Of Brian, his head coach in basketball, John Clancy, said, quote, "Brian is one of the most competitive athletes that I have ever coached. He earned tremendous respect from the other coaches in the area, and many have indicated to me that they would love to have him on their team. Brian's legacy will last in Chittenango for years, as the young athletes he led this year will pass down his lessons as they go through their careers." Alongside Brian as co-athlete of the year for the boys is a young man whose motor never stops. A true gym rat, this individual is always striving to get better, and even though his playing days may be over, that mentality will follow him wherever he may go. Our second co-athlete of the year award recipient, John Spencer. This coming from John's head coach in football, Bill Cretero. John was an excellent student and a 4-year member of the Future Business Leaders of America organization. Truly a hard worker and a person of integrity. John's wrestling coach, Nick Bacon, recalled the best moments of John's senior season as simply watching him be a great leader and a great person, doing the little things right and paving the way for the younger wrestlers to do the same.
For a reversal, back points. Be patient. And there you go.
Got it. Good work there with John Spencer.
And before we get to the 3 award winners of the Athlete of the Year on the girls' side, we have a very special guest on stage, the man behind the evening, here to talk about our first 2 recipients, Athletic Director Dave Griska. Dave, we appreciate you being here with us.
Well, thanks, Tommy. I'm glad to be here, but more thanks to you for agreeing to do this. It's great to have a former Bear here leading this night. You know, this is a really special night to hand out the sports awards, and your presence here and doing it in this venue gives it a little different taste and flavor. So a little bit of something good came out of something not so good.
Dave, looking at our 2 co-athletes of the year on the boys' side, it comes at no surprise that both Brian and John were the Leadership Award winners as well. Those 2 awards share a lot of similarities. What did you see out of these 2 young men that made them such great leaders?
Well, I think that you can say that Brian and John both have in common is they lead by example. Everything that they do, whether it's the mental preparation, practice, or play the game, they play as hard as they can for the entirety of the contest or practice. I think they're a great role model for the younger guys on how to do things the right way. They're always there. They're always committed. They're loyal. I think they embody a little bit of all the character traits which put them in the position that they're on now to be recognized as Athletes of the Year.
Focusing our attention on Brian for a moment, you heard part of that quote from Coach Clancy about how Brian is one of the most competitive athletes that he has ever coached. That is a strong statement from a man who has coached a lot of athletes at Chittenango. What makes Brian such a fierce competitor?
I think with Brian, he has this intense drive just to win at all costs. He's one of the hardest players on the field for both teams. Night in and night out, you know that he's giving you 110%, and there's not going to be anything left in the gas tank when he's done.
Switching gears to highlight John Spencer for a moment, I was fortunate to work with John at Titletown Fight Club with Todd and Melissa Kutry. There's no denying he's one of the hardest workers behind the scenes, always striving to be better. How much did you see that extra work he put in behind the scenes translate on the field?
Well, I think in today's day and age, the kids that are putting in that extra work are the ones that are getting that extra success. I think we can look at the success that John had this year on the wrestling mat as a prime example. All those extra days of lifting, running, working out, getting on the mat and wrestling, I think those are the things that helped John capture the Class B championship at the heavyweight division this year. You know, and probably without those extra days of grinding, that might not have happened. Those are the people that are special, the ones that can grind, go the extra mile, and John Spencer's work ethic is something that's not going to be questioned, and they're definitely a big part of his results for this year.
Before we transition to the winners on the girls' side, the great thing about this award is that it's not all about stats. Stats certainly play a part, but typically the winners of the Athlete of the Year award embody most, if not all, of the character awards we touched on tonight in these 2 young men. Perhaps their best characteristic is their ability to inspire their teammates and make everyone around them better. How have you seen Brian and John grow in that regard in the last few years you spent watching them play?
I think the thing you can say about both John and Brian is they're the guys that do the dirty work. Things that don't necessarily translate onto the stat sheet, those are the guys that are getting done. I think they're the ones that take care of all the little things that lead up to the big things that lead you to that W. I think both the guys have had great examples to learn from over the years, be it the coaching staff, and then certainly the kids that came before them. I think the 2 of them are going to leave a legacy of how to do things right, how to be committed to something, how to do the little things to take care of the big things. And I think that's one of the highest compliments we're going to be able to pay them in a couple of years, having a conversation about some other kids, how they lived up to the standard that John Spencer and Brian Schermerhorn set for them.
Fortunately, Dave's hanging around with us for a little while longer. We'll reveal the Girl Athletes of the Year in just a moment. But first, there's a couple coaches who would like to say a few words about Brian and John.
Brian, it's a great honor to be able to talk about you as one of the male athletes of the year this year. I couldn't think of a more deserving candidate. I've been coaching for a long time and seen many of these ceremonies, and you're a candidate that fits right in with the past award winners. It's been a pleasure to know you not only as a player on the basketball court, but also as a student, and really as just an important part of the Chittenango community. I think one of the biggest compliments that an athlete can be paid is not only does his own coach really enjoy having him, but other coaches commented to me many times this year about how they would have loved to have you as a member of their teams. That's one of the things that makes you very special. You're a great player, unbelievably competitive, a great worker, and one side that I hadn't seen until this year was your ability to really lead, and you did such a great job with our younger players this year. Having other seniors besides the ones that we had this year could have really been problematic and could have really turned the season into a disaster. And I'm so thankful that you were around this year to make that transition very, very seamless. I know you do great things going on from here. I'm going to miss you a lot, and I wish you the best, and I know that we'll be in touch. Thank you.
I would like to congratulate John Spencer on winning the Male Athlete of the Year award. It's an amazing award to win, and it doesn't just showcase all the athletic abilities, but it also shows the character and the build-up to that moment. It does not come without the dedication and commitment and the hard work that I've seen personally John put in over the past 3 years of being his wrestling coach and watching him grow with football and even lacrosse, learning new strategies and new techniques and just ways to attack the game and learn how to play and wrestle and do all that he is doing. I think it's well-deserved, and just watching him go out there and learn those things and actually apply them. It's one thing to learn them, but actually to go out there and apply them is not easy. And John did that, especially this senior year, going out there and wrestling our heavyweight weight class, which sometimes entails wrestling someone who might be 20 or 30 pounds more, or even 20 or 30 pounds less. So just showing the athletic ability to adjust and face some adversity at times when someone's a lot heavier than you or maybe even faster. John shows those techniques and his athletic ability, and I couldn't be more proud of him. So again, congratulations to John Spencer on the Male Athlete of the Year award, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. Thank you.
Well, it all comes down to this. 3 young ladies have waited patiently for their names to be called, cementing them as some of the all-time great athletes in Chittenango history. The first girl to be crowned Co-Athlete of the Year is someone who comes from a family where sports are ritualistic, and she's just the latest in a long line of gifted athletes. A star in both basketball and softball, this individual decided to take her first crack at soccer this year as a senior and just happened to earn the role as the team's starting goalkeeper. Congratulations to Cassidy Kelly. Cassidy's head soccer and basketball coach, Cassie Klein, had this to say about her, quote, "The first word that comes to mind when thinking about Cassidy on the basketball court is presence. Her athleticism is something you cannot teach." About her role on the soccer team, Klein said, quote, "We couldn't have had the season we did without Cassidy, who stepped up huge in taking on the role of our keeper. She took on this challenge with a smile and determination. She was fearless, and she simply wanted to be the best, one among many reasons of why she is our Player of the Year." Our next co-recipient of the Athlete of the Year award is someone whose name you'll see atop the girls' basketball record books for years to come. After a senior campaign filled with milestones Chittenango has never seen the likes of, this young athlete never lost the one attribute that made her so unique: her humility. Joining her teammate Cassidy as a fellow Athlete of the Year award winner is Allie Shoemaker. Of Allie, her head coach in lacrosse, Dave Barron, said, quote, "I believe that Allie's teammates love and respect her so much because she's so humble while being such a standout athlete." Coach Klein added, quote, "Her athleticism, tenacity, will, and determination are the reasons she's player of the year." Throughout all that, Allie is coachable, selfless, a leader, kind, and positive. She puts in the work, never settles, and leads by example.
She's top 1,000, the first girl to reach that milestone in Chittenango's illustrious basketball history.
The third girls co-recipient of the Athlete of the Year had a senior year most people would only dream of having. Her exceptional commitments to her schoolwork and countless extracurriculars did not stop her from thriving on the soccer field and volleyball court. Congratulations to Sarah Martin. Sarah's head coach in volleyball, Amy Simmons, had this to say about her, quote, "Sarah is a natural athlete whose competitiveness shines through at every moment. She's also a team player wanting the best for her team. Sarah amazed me with her ability to manage everything she was involved with, from select choir, club sports, high school sports, and her academics, being the 2020 salutatorian."
Bears point.
That's a good shot.
And that's going to be a goal.
Blue shoes.
Blue
Sarah
shoes.
Martin.
Our athletic director, Dave Grisk, has been kind enough to stick around with us and talk a little bit about what makes this group of Girls Athlete of the Year award winners so special. Dave, I'd like to start by highlighting this group as a whole, as we did with the boys. These three award winners have grown up together. They've played a lot of the same sports together. They've developed a bond that will last them well beyond their days at Chittenango. How much of their success can you attribute to that, their desire to always compete with each other and strive to make each other better?
Tom, that's a great question. I think with the girls specifically, there's such a depth in that class, so many outstanding female athletes. I think with that group, particularly having been together for so long, the successes that they've had is really attributed to them being together. They've played all the way up through together, but more importantly, they've been there to push each other and challenge each other. I think one of the keys to teams getting better is having internal competition to improve and to fight for a job and fight to keep a job on a team. And I think with this group of girls being there against each other, with each other, pulling for each other has only made them better. So I think to them, coming up together with the rest of the group has certainly made them a special group and got them to the place they're at today.
Let's highlight Cassidy Kelly first. This is a young woman who had her pick at future options, athletically proficient in both softball and basketball. It seems she was leading towards the former, and then all of a sudden, she's committed to one of the top junior college basketball programs in the region. How rare is it to find an athlete these days so versatile at the high school level with her level of talent across all the sports she participates in?
I think with Cassidy specifically, I've had the pleasure of watching her play a lot longer than the other girls. Cassidy was on my daughter's softball team for a couple years leading up to this, so I've always been able to see what an athlete she is, what a fierce competitor she is on the field, and what a talent. She is athletically gifted. She's able to play different sports. I know there was times she thought about playing volleyball. We asked her to play soccer this year. She jumped right into that role, played goalie, which, not having played soccer in many years, I think that's a huge leap for her. So for her to have her pick athletically doesn't surprise me at all. I think Cassidy is one of those kids. She's going to find success in whatever sport that she settles on and plays, and she'll be a welcome addition to any team going forward.
Taking a look at Allie Shoemaker, now another star three-sport athlete, but considering she may go down as one of the greatest Chittenango girls basketball players ever, I think a focus solely on her play on the hardwood is justified. Dave, the milestones are one of the first things about Allie that pops out. Of course, her reaching the 1,000-point mark is something that people would point to first, the triple doubles, the stat padding. But if you look beneath the surface of her game, her humility is something her coaches and family are perhaps the most proud of.
You know, when I think of Allie, the first word that comes to mind is selfless. Her play, whether it's on the soccer field, the lacrosse field, or on the basketball court, is selfless. She's always setting her teammates up for their success. If she ever decided that she wanted to score 50 points in a game, it was going to happen. Allie had the ability to get to the basket any way she wanted to, whenever she wanted to, but she always put team above her own scoring stats. If she was a little more selfish, I'd be really interested to see how many points she really could have put up individually. It's rare today to see somebody put the success of their teammates above their own individual success. But I think that's really what Allie Shoemaker will be remembered for, is how humble she was and how selfless she was and how much she really did put her teammates and their success above her own personal successes on the court.
Last but certainly not least, Sarah Martin, another player with remarkable talent in multiple sports, which seems to be a recurring theme with this group. And while her volleyball and soccer stats jump off the page, her vocal leadership is perhaps her best quality.
In the same way we talked about Brian Schermerhorn and his intensity, I think you got to talk about Sarah Martin in the same light. She is an intense competitor. She's not afraid to speak her mind and let people know, hey, we got to pick it up, we got to go, it's time to play harder. Certainly highly skilled on the field, certainly somebody who could put up stats in bunches, but just her drive and intense focus, she'll be the one to get on her teammates and let them know, hey, it's our time, we got to take care of business now. So I think that voice will be something that's going to be tough to replace, both in soccer and volleyball specifically, having that vocal leader, because sometimes when you have that vocal leader, other people are able to step back and say, well, Sarah's going to be the vocal leader, Sarah's going to get us going. So hopefully people have watched Sarah in action and they'll pick up on that and learn a lesson, and there'll be somebody to be that next Sarah Martin vocal leader. We've certainly been really lucky to have Sarah here as a Bear for the last 4 years, and I know that next year she's going to go to the University of Rochester, and early and often she'll become a vocal leader there as well.
Dave, I imagine you and I can talk about this group all night, but I have one final question before we let you go. All three of these athletes will be putting their skills on display at the collegiate level. Cassidy heading to OCC for basketball. Allie will be attending St. John Fisher to play hoops, and you can find Sarah on the pitch next year with the University of Rochester, as you mentioned. How confident are you in these three ladies as they transition to the next level and continue to spread the Chittenango name?
You know, I have no doubt that these three will go out and represent Chittenango with the greatest of pride. We're sending our best out there, I think. You know, I think there's certain things they say are definite in life, death and taxes, and I think we could add Sarah Martin, Allie Shoemaker, and Cassidy Kelly going out and representing Chittenango in the best light possible as one of those things that you can count on.
Well, Dave, on behalf of the entire Chittenango community, we'd like to thank you for orchestrating tonight's festivities. I'm sure this will be a night these young student athletes will never forget.
Thanks, Tommy. Like I said before, the real thanks goes to you for coming here and doing this. I can tell you it's going to be a little different next year when we come out here in the fall. It's going to be a little sad. I think I was really sad when we canceled the season this year, but I think what is really going to settle in when we get to August and September and we start playing on the fields again is the fact that the class of 2020 is gone and graduated, and we're not going to see them here playing collectively again. I have the great confidence in the whole class that they're all going to go out and do great things in the future of their lives, whether it's playing sports, careers, having families. I think this group is highly prepared for great success.
Before we say goodbye, a few people near and dear to the hearts of our three female athletes of the year would like to say something about our award winners.
Good evening. I'd like to say congratulations to all the winners tonight. We're awful proud of you, and you make it special to be a coach at Chittenango. I've had the luxury of coaching this young lady for 4 years in softball. She's an outstanding athlete. I think her special characteristic, her smile, her energy, her overall physical attributes make her a very special athlete to not only coach but to hang out with also. I think her positivity extends not just through the other players but also to the coaches. I think her work ethic and practice is outstanding. She did everything we asked her to do. Summertime, going all over the place, the North Carolinas, the Ohios and Connecticut's and New York Cities, and did everything she could to become a better player. It was interesting. She became kind of my #1 pitcher, best shortstop, best center fielder, best hitter, RBIs, power, as well as average. You could say she does it all, and I think one of the positive characteristics that she has and that other coaches kind of see is her ability to always enjoy herself regardless of what she's doing, but also she works really hard. I think the biggest compliment I've received from her, from other people, have always been, who's that one? Who's that number 12? You know, where is she going to college? What's she doing? So I've had wonderful years with her. I think she's an exceptional athlete. I think she's an exceptional person. It could be a little bit awkward tonight for who I'm giving this to, but I'm going to turn this over to Coach Klein, and she's going to say a couple of kind words about also, and then we'll find out who this winner is. Coach Klein?
I've had the pleasure of coaching Cassidy in soccer for a year and in basketball for 4 years, and it's something I will never forget because of the person she is and the player. For soccer this year, we did not have a goalie. And when I found out that day, the first person I thought of was Cassidy. And I thought of Cassidy because of the type of athlete she is. She is someone that can pick up any sport and do it well. I'm not even sure how to begin because our team could not thank her enough for what she did for our soccer season. We wouldn't have had the season we did without Cassidy, who stepped up huge in taking on a role of our keeper, a difficult and one of the most challenging positions in any sport. She took this on with a challenge and with a smile and determination. She was fearless and she simply wanted to be the best, one among many reasons of why she is Player of the Year. She walked onto the soccer field and had never played goalie and excelled at this position and was a huge reason why we made it to the semifinals with a 14-4 record. It was exciting to watch her play as a coach because she's just one of those amazing athletes that you watch her go out there and slide tackle and go for the ball, and it's just really amazing to see. And in basketball, the first word that comes to mind when thinking about Cassidy on the basketball court is presence. She makes a difference offensively and defensively. And when she's out of the game, it's as if something is missing. A very hard spot for somebody to fill next year. At the small forward position, Cassidy can drive to the basket with ease, but can handle the ball as a guard and has a deep shooting range, which makes her impossible to guard. And I'm very lucky that I've had that on my team for the past 4 years. Her athleticism is something you cannot teach. She simply does it all. She scores, assists, defends, rebounds, steals, blocks. The list could go on, which are all among many reasons on why she is Player of the Year. On a personal note, I would just like to say that Cassidy, you are someone that I will never forget coaching. You brought happiness to our teams, and you brought the competitive drive that I love in seeing in athletes. I look forward to watching you play next year, and I can't wait to see what else you do.
Thanks, Coach Klein, for those kind words. I'd like to end with the following. It's one of the few times, I think, or the only time that I can actually say I love this kid dearly. And I want to thank her for being the athlete she is, the person she is, the student she is, the young lady she has become. I thank her for accepting me as not only dad but also as coach, and that hasn't always been the easiest, but I think we got through it pretty good. And this year's Athlete of the Year award winner for 2019-2020 goes to Cassidy Kelly. Congratulations, honey.
I've had the pleasure of coaching Allie in 3 sports: varsity soccer, varsity basketball, and JV lacrosse. It was an amazing spot to be in, watching her play and grow in all 3. Allie is an all-around amazing athlete, a standout in every sport she plays. She is a competitor in all aspects and wants to win and will do anything she can to make that happen. Her athleticism, tenacity, will, and determination are all among reasons why she's Player of the Year. Through that all, Allie is coachable, selfless, a leader, kind, and positive. She puts in the work, never settles, and leads by example. She sets high expectations through her actions and always wants what's best for her team. In soccer, Allie is one of the best midfielders in one of the toughest leagues, playing holding center mid, which is the nitty-gritty, tough position. She defends, never lets anyone get past her, and on the offensive end, she is always distributing and setting her teammates up. She does the dirty work that no one else wants to do, such as marking the other team's players, yet she's on the defensive end whenever I need her to be. In basketball, Allie was a 5-year varsity starter as a point guard. She is one of the best, if not the best, ball handlers in the league. She is now our school's all-time leading scorer and surpassed 1,000 points in 2020. This year, she led the league in assists and had multiple triple-double games. There is no doubt in my mind that Allie deserves this award. She will succeed in playing any sport she wants in college. I am so proud of you, Allie, and I'm going to miss coaching you year-round.
Sarah Martin was always known to me as the soccer player, and rightly so. She is such an incredible soccer player. She will be playing at University of Rochester next year. But the thing about Sarah is that she can play any sport. She is a true athlete through and through. And that is not because of her raw athleticism. It is because of her mindset, her drive, her competitiveness, and her will to succeed. A great athlete works year-round to improve every aspect of their game, and Sarah does just that for multiple sports. Her work ethic is evident off the court, too. Sarah amazed me with her ability to manage everything she was involved with, from select choir, club sports, high school sports, and her academics, being the 2020 salutatorian, which is a huge accomplishment. Ms. Klein says that Sarah never ceased to amaze her in her ability on the soccer field. She has finesse, skill, strength, speed, agility, smarts, and toughness. She controls the middle of the field offensively and defensively. Despite being man-marked, Sarah handles the pressure with ease and still manages to be a powerhouse. Sarah's ability to finish and score led her to be a 2-time OHSL Player of the Year, a rare accomplishment back-to-back. She made her presence on the soccer field known. She trains on her own with the mentality, the vision of a champion is bent over, drenched in sweat, at the point of exhaustion when nobody else is looking. Her work ethic is apparent, always in shape come August. Sarah leads by example. She shows others that to be great, you have to put in the work, time, and effort. You have to push yourself on the last sprint when all you want to do is stop. Sarah never gives up. She plays hard down to the last second. Sarah also never settles. She is determined to do better herself and make the players around her better, holding herself and others accountable. This was Sarah's first year as a starter on the volleyball court, and she quickly became the best all-around player, earning all CNY status. She is a natural athlete whose competitiveness comes through at every moment. She does not accept defeat easily. She practices and plays hard all the time. She was very coachable, her drive to get better evident. She led our team in kills, digs, and aces. She was named to the OHSL First Team, Class B All-Section Team, and CNY All-Star Team. She also led our team in the drive to succeed. She cared about the team, our season, and her teammates. She always has a lot going on in her life, but it felt like she put the team first. That is a sign of an Athlete of the Year, a talented, skilled player, but one who is looking out for her team, pushing them to be better than they think they can be. I also had the pleasure of coaching Sarah in unified basketball. This is where her traits that make her the well-rounded athlete that she is really shined. As our point guard, Sarah ran the offense while she was on the court. She was always looking to get the other students involved. She was never interested in scoring because she would rather give the opportunity to a teammate. She wouldn't just hand the ball off. She would coach the athletes, helping them to learn the game and be successful, which is so important to them. Her compassion for others and love for sports was evident during this time. She treated everyone with respect and enjoyed helping others participate in sports, the thing she loves. I am so proud to award Sarah Martin the 2020 Female Athlete of the Year.
That concludes the 2020 Chittenango Senior Sports Awards. A final congratulations to all of our award winners this evening, including our 5 co-athletes of the year, Brian Schermerhorn, John Spencer, Cassidy Kelly, Allie Shoemaker, and Sarah Martin. A thank you goes out to all the coaches who took the time to be here to represent and support their amazing athletes. And a special thank you to a few people whom tonight would not have been possible without Beth Carpenter, Mike Diezik, Harold Muller, and our outstanding athletic director, Dave Kriska. We hope everyone enjoyed the evening. From the Chittenango High School Auditorium, I'm Tommy Valentine. So long and have a safe and happy summer as we leave you with one final message from our senior student athletes.
Be brave, be team, be a soul, be nice, listen to souls, be happy, be independent, and ask for help when you need it. The difference between your thoughts, they do for everything you taught me. They be strong, caring, and believing in me. They did all my helpers, especially Mrs. Monoff, is always there for me. I miss it all.
To be a bear means a lot to me, but to keep it brief, I would have to quote Mrs. Kiska and say to be a bear is to be home. Home is somewhere where you can always be yourself and always have someone to lean on. Chittenango is a lot like a home. I'm so thankful for everyone who has worked so hard to create such a solid foundation for us. I could not have been more proud than to have grown up in a town like Chittenango. To underclassmen, I would have to say to get involved. The amount of diverse people you meet during this is amazing. Making connections with strangers in your community is something that you should strive to do. Also, you should never take a day for granted, because high school is some of the best times you're ever going to have with the people that you've grown up with, so always be thankful for that. One teacher that I would like to thank that isn't a coach is Miss Grogan. Like many of my other teachers, Miss Grogan is very hardworking and very intelligent, but the one thing that sets her apart from the rest is her appreciation for the little things. In school, it's very easy to get wrapped up in work and stress and all that, but she's always taught me that it's okay and actually healthy to just take a minute and appreciate what you have and where you are. And I think people that reinforce positive perspective are very important, so thanks.
What does it mean to be a bear? To me, it means that you're someone who's strong and courageous and you persevere through all of the challenges life could possibly throw at you. It is also more of a feeling as well. To be a bear gives you a sense of home, and no matter where you are in the world or what you're doing, you're always going to know that you belong, no matter what. To underclassmen, I would have to say to not worry about the little things. Don't stress over what you can't control. If you think you're not going to be able to get all your work done, trust me, you will. I've cried many times over school, and it's nothing to really worry about because you're not really going to remember it anyway. You're going to remember the fun times you had, not the stuff you're stressing over. So just be happy and carefree. One teacher I'd like to thank that isn't a coach is definitely Miss Johnson, because she was one of the first teachers I ever had at the high school that taught me that grades aren't all that matters. It's not what defines you as a person. And it's okay to get a bad grade every once in a while because it doesn't make you a bad person or change your character. And she's always positive and happy and fun and definitely makes the school day a lot better. And she's just amazing.
You smile and happy. You get friends. I was trying to go to teachers, friends. You get bears, family. And EQ teachers and all freaking science.
Hey guys, so to me being a bear means to give 100% in everything you do and to never give up and to treat everyone with respect no matter who they are. Some advice that I'd like to give to the underclassmen is to do everything and create new experiences. Do the musical, play the sport you want to play, because when you look back, you want to have a good high school memory and you never know when it could all be over.
To me, being a bear means opportunity. The opportunity to play 3 sports at Chittenango and even compete in sectional playoffs is something I'll always cherish, as well as the opportunity to make friends on and off the field and learn important life lessons along the way. Lastly, and most importantly, being a bear means being able to represent the great community of Chittenango. The teacher I'd like to thank is Mrs. Carpenter. I'd like to thank her for everything she's done in the classroom, teaching me physics and staying after school till 3, 4, or even sometimes 5 o'clock. I'd like to also thank her for everything she's done out of the classroom, from helping me learn how to commentate with all of these Bears games out here at the turf, as well as with helping me with my soccer highlight tape. Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. My advice to the underclassmen is work hard, get involved early, take advantage of every opportunity you're given, and cherish every moment and memory, because you never know when it may be your last in high school.
What being a bear means to me is that you never give up and you always persevere. You always push yourself to higher limits and you have faith in others and believe in yourself. Some advice I have to the grades below me are to enjoy your high school moments, because being a senior, my year was cut short, and I think that everyone should have a great senior year. and enjoy high school while they have it. The teacher that has inspired me most throughout my high school years is Mrs. Wilcox. She's pushed me to be a better person and accept others for who they are and not to judge so quick. She's also taught me a lot of patience and forgiveness.
Being a bear is super important to me. Honestly, I think the biggest part of bear culture is kindness. Everyone in the hallway always stops and says hi to each other, picks up people's books when they drop them. Everyone has just honestly been super kind to me in my experience at Chittenango, and that's what I truly think is what it means to be a bear. My advice to the underclassmen is just treasure every single moment that you have in high school. It's such a great experience, and I wish it didn't have to end so soon, but you don't understand how quick it's gonna come, and it'll be your senior night, and you'll be like, whoa, how did this happen? I still feel like a freshman. So just kind of be in the moment and be present and just enjoy the ride. I would really like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Clancy. I know it said to pick one, but can't choose between the two. Honestly, Mr. Clancy has dealt with my shenanigans for years. I ask him so many questions, and I know it's super annoying, but even though he probably doesn't appreciate all of my questions, he's always eager to help me, and he puts up with me. And Mrs. Clancy has always been there for me when I've struggled in math or when I've just needed some life advice. She's just been super consistent for me, so I'd really like to thank the both of them. And they come and visit me at my work at Carter's Creamery, so I appreciate that a lot as well.
My biggest tip for underclassmen is to try new things and join different groups. It'll help you become diverse and a better person. And with that, it'll allow you to have fun and find new hobbies and just find stuff that you enjoy, which will make high school so much easier. Another tip I have is to enjoy the time you have, because high school is just way shorter than it seems. What a bear means to me. Being a bear means always finding the good and the bad, and always just trying to help people and make life easier for everyone, help the community, and just have fun with all your classmates, your friends, and really just try to be a genuine, kind person. I couldn't really think of a teacher or anyone I really wanted to specifically thank, because everyone has been so great. But from second grade, when I first moved here, to now, everyone has been fantastic. The lunch ladies, teachers, administrators, bus drivers, custodians, everyone has influenced me and my classmates, and I really want to thank everyone for everything they've done and continue to do.
Some advice that I would offer the underclassmen would be always be willing to try new things and take risks. Throughout your years at the high school, you're going to be faced with a lot of new opportunities, so take advantage of as many as you can and really make the best of your years at high school. To me, being a bear means always having people that you can count on to support you and push you to do your best and help you with any challenges that you may be faced with. You will never feel alone. One teacher that I would like to thank is my photo teacher, Miss Bass. Throughout all my years at the high school, she always made sure that I knew that I had a place I could go if I ever wanted to talk or if I just needed a hug. She also taught me so much about not just photography, but about life.
Hi everybody! What being a bear means to me is being part of a family. All of these teachers and administrators, they're all here for your support, for you and for your peers, and you're just one big family. Everyone looks out for each other. And I really respect that, and I really think that's what helped me through my whole high school career, is just having these administrators and teachers there for me and my friends and peers. My advice for underclassmen is to get involved. If there's a sport or any activity that you even have the slightest bit of interest in it, try it. You might find that you absolutely love it and you wish you tried it sooner. So now is the time to try new things, to get involved in school. One academic teacher that I've had, but not as a coach, that I would like to thank is Miss Karp. She does so much for this school and for her students. She will put aside as much time as she has in the day for helping her kids. And that helped me a lot when I was taking physics. I would go for her if I needed anything. So thank you.
To the underclassmen, go to homecoming, participate in Spirit Week, go to the dances, go to football games. Like, go to every single event and participate in all the little events and such in school, because you never know when you're not going to have those, and every single one is an opportunity to make memories. Honestly, as a senior, those are the ones that you remember. And I truly believe studying hard will get you where you want to go, but there are times to have fun and not push yourself to the point where it's not good. Like, there are little times where it matters, and there are times when you should have fun. And that is what high school is about, is making memories with the people that you've grown up with your whole life. And senior year is the time to appreciate those little moments. Being a bear means persevering through hardships and coming together as one. We are kind, we are strong, and above all, we hold ourselves to standards that make us proud to call ourselves a bear. I would like to thank my first art teacher, Mr. Devendorf, as I have never had a teacher encourage me in the way that you have. And I still think about those times when I would skip recess to go to your classroom and paint or do some art thing. And that has stayed with me all through high school, and art has become a big part of my life and enjoyment to me. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without you.
For me, to be a bear means I have a whole community behind me, always supporting me in anything that I do, school-related or sports-related. It means that whenever I see someone, I know them, and we are all one family. And it means that we are always honest, loyal, and hardworking. Advice I'd give to the underclassmen is never take it for granted. High school is such a fun 4 years. Get involved, do as many activities as you can, meet new people, make new friends, you know everyone in the hallways, and just have a really good support system, because Chittenango is a great support system if you get involved. One teacher I would like to thank is Mr. Cashman for always taking the time out of his day to make sure that we know what assignment is given, what we can do about it, how we can make it as best as we can, and for always giving us 10th periods, helping with college essays, helping with anything we need, writing related or just life related. He's always there, and I just wanted to give you a big shout out and thank you.
To me, being a bear is being part of a community and a family and always putting in 100%. My advice to the underclassmen would be just try to always have fun with it and just keep working hard.
Being a bear to me is all about having the courage to get back up again when things get rough and they don't go your way. My advice for the underclassmen is stop setting yourself up for failure and do what you need to be told to do, and always give 100% every single day, even though you don't feel like doing it those days, but it will help you in the long run, and it will make you a better. I don't think that there's one teacher that I favor over the other, so I would say that all of the teachers that I've had in the past and in the present have molded me and shaped me into the man that I am today, and I couldn't be more grateful.